Actually, let's put on the soundtrack because it goes a little hard, if you ask me. Is it on shuffle? No, swag. All right. I need to go get the streamy link and post it around. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Let's see, how's the chat going? Hey, I'm doing well. Hi, Yucky. I'm just setting stuff up real quick. Everyone. Zoink. And then just on Twitter. Alright, swag. Okay, everything should be advertised. Oh man, there's already 8 people here. What's up? This might be kind of a quick stream because I've got stuff to do. How's this lost thing? I can't. Okay. I have no idea. The longest it's gonna last is like 2-ish hours because I have to go to somewhere by 2-ish hours. So that's as far as we'll get. Nita, hola. Oh man, I'm really nervous. So, I'm gonna wait a little bit, but until then, I'm just gonna sit here. I was originally gonna have something sketched by now, but I kept trying to, and I was like, shit. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Very hyped. I did get my center line as far as I got with everything, and I tried to do stuff here, but I really just could not figure out what to do. So we'll figure it out eventually. Until then, we have the little welcome Todd. Oh, okay. So, we'll just get to the point. For the past few months, I have been working on the prequel to Lure of the Maw, which is kind of a really big thing that I worked on near the beginning of the year. And so I decided that I would make a prequel, and I started planning that, and obviously it's taken a long time, but about a week ago or so, I started writing the prologue because I got planning finished after so many months. The outline alone is 14,000 words. And now the prologue is finished, which means I can start posting it, which is going to be fun. It's going to be very exciting. I might read out the chapter. I might not. I don't know. I'll wait a few minutes for more people to come in. But the first chapter / the prologue is about 4,400 words. So we're starting off kind of strong. And Lure of the Maw's sort of thing was that it was adding a character that wasn't originally there. So Lure of the Signal is going to have the same thing. And it's been very funny seeing people guess who it is. And some people already know who it is. If you do, then don't say anything. It will be revealed soon. But hearing everyone's guesses is super fucking funny. They're like, oh, it's this character. No, it's this character. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So, you will have all of your guesses and predictions either confirmed or not confirmed, and you may or may not have your mind blown, but I'm probably hyping it up too much, so I'm not gonna. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Togetherness 1, shut up. Shut up. I'm gonna let it play, but a little mentally ill today. I'll probably wait like, I don't know, 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes. I just want to make sure that everyone who wants to be here is going to be here. I know this is kind of not the ideal time to stream. I would have done it on Saturday, but a lot of stuff was going on that day. So I just decided I was going to do it on Sunday, you know, and now I'm busy, so. Whew. I wish I could give you more to look at than just the funny little welcome sketch. Here, I got it. I wish I could give you more. I'm literally an artist. I can draw it. Little man. Little itty bitty. Swink. There he is. You can just, you have a little itty bitty mono to look at while we're waiting. Okay. I'm very nervous because the last time I read something out loud was back during the Lure of the Maw Q&A when I was reading some stuff that got cut from the Ladies' Quarters chapters. And, oh, it's scary. The team see the lovely bee. I'm really nervous because that was only like, it wasn't many words. I know it wasn't. It was probably around like 2,000 words or something. And now it's gonna be 4,000 words. And that is so much. You can probably see me clicking around the screen. I can't really tell. I'm looking at the stream and checking chat from my phone. But, I'm just pulling it up. I'm nervous. Yeah, I really should have prepared this better, but I was just super busy this morning. But, I guess we can start into it if everyone is ready and everyone is here. Oh, I'm nervous. So, no, I was gonna say maybe I should post it first. Maybe I should. I just don't want the tags to spoil who it is. You know, after the stream, I'll add the character tag. Okay, that's what I'll do. Because I know that some people have a hard time processing exactly what words are going into your brain without subtitles or something to read along with. So I'm going to post it real quick. I'll send the link in the chat. And then we can start. Everyone can read along. I'm going to put this up to teen and up audiences for now. For now. Everyone in the chat. Haha, I'm in danger. Choose not to use archive warnings. No archive warnings apply. Everyone's just gonna have to listen to me type for a few minutes. Like I said, I was very unprepared for this. Which general right now? Heyo! I guess at the moment. This is really weird out of context. I'll try to... I have to fill out the relationships, and it's like, he hasn't... Nothing... I can't fill it out without giving spoilers. Mono 6. And we'll keep it at that for now. 6 is kind of in the prologue a little bit. You'll see. I should tag this, but it'll spoil things. It's especially hard because I don't want it to spoil anyone who's just reading along in the chat. Okay. It's time to add the tags. I can't talk to myself while this is happening. I'm going to have to will myself not to. That's not a tag. Boo! Right. I should immediately add at the beginning. It's a prequel fic. That's a good... I'm literally doing it right now. I know this isn't the most entertaining thing. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I can, but At least we've got bops in the background. That's good. I can't read along. I'm doing something while watching the stream. That's fine. I'm just having this option for people who can have it and will need it. because I know some of my friends have a hard time processing things if they don't have it right in front of them. And I'm the same way. Thank you. Yeah. Well, Another thing you gotta keep in mind is that since this is in a series, I can't overload it with a bunch of tags, because I have 100 tag, 100 tag limit for stuff that's in a series, which makes everything so much tougher, because it's like, shit, I gotta conserve my tags. Oh, yes, that one. Hold on, I just remembered. Y'all ever feel that soulmate tag? Because, yeah, that's gonna be here. That's no spoiler. If you've read Lure of the Maw, that's not a spoiler. And I did say in the description I would not be spoiler free with that one. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, I think that's good for the first chapter. Woo, alright. Is this disposable? No. It's too early for that. I'm just gonna be quick with the notes. I'm just gonna say I'll fill this section out more after I finish on screen reading. Okay. And then I gotta have typing ASMR. Hello everyone. Post to collections, choose language, English. This work is part of a series, yes. This has multiple chapters, no idea. Chapter title, prologue. Huh, rich text. Rich text is so beloved. If you're posting on AO3 for the first time, I highly recommend using the rich tag. It's so much easier. Yeah, God, what a great song. It has awesome motif. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna have to pause it real quick because, man, I'm nervous. Oh. Well, it has begun. Holy shit. Man, horse on beach. Let me go get the link. Holy crap. Woof. Oh, it's weird. I gotta reload my AO3 page. Man, oh man. Come here. Holy crap. Whoa, I'm scared. I'm scared to read it. It's 11 pages I gotta read through. Let me set one that might be... I know everyone is a big fan of that song, but I just need one that's gonna fit the beginning of this better. Actually, it might just restarting the soundtrack might be good. Woof. Okay. Alright, we'll give a minute for people to get there. But oh man. No. No, I'm constantly nervous. I'm extremely nervous. There's a lot of hype around this, so you know. If it looks so weird without all the other tags that I would have added for like actually posting this, so okay. Alright. I don't have water with me, so that's gonna make this a lot harder. Whew. Now, let me say, there's one character in here that has a voice that I describe in the text what it sounds like, and I'm not going to be able to recreate it because I apparently have a baby voice. I have the sound and the voice and the tone and the pitch of a literal baby, and that character does not. So please bear with me when I read them, okay? Please. Thankfully they don't have many lines in this chapter, but they will in future chapters. Thank God. I'm probably not going to read these chapters to people very much, at least out loud. We can use our imagination, thank you. Oh God, I'm extremely nervous. Okay. I'm going to start reading. Anyone who wants to follow along, the link is in the chat. I would update the stream description, but I'm afraid of what that might do to the stream. Alright. Mono was alone. That was nothing new. He had always been alone-ish. For the majority of his life, there had been adults constantly fussing over him, coaxing him to televisions and raising his buzzing hands to do something with the screens. Even with their presences, Mono had never seen them as friends or family, just mentors. Mentors that annoyed him and made him upset and forced him into a life path he didn't want. He hated all of it, so he finally ran away. And now he was truly alone. He wasn't entirely sure how he felt about it, but he was hoping it wouldn't last forever. He didn't want to be alone. He wanted to be a somewhat normal kid, one that could fit in with a group that would see him as a friend. Not some superpowered freak that was pretty much a beacon for monsters. He'd almost made friends a few weeks ago, but then they saw his eyes, and now he never took off his bag cover, and he never used his powers. The days dragged on without any sign of other kids. He was scrounging for food, making sleep piles, hiding and running all by himself. Some days he'd regret running away. Other days he'd feel wildly free without any adults to force him into a role he hated. Other days he'd just feel empty and hollow. He never knew how much he'd fear loneliness, but now that he'd gotten his fair share, he wanted it to be over. Audiobook. Mono was following a road that led into the woods. He was coming from a small village that had too much noise in it. If he wasn't hearing groaning monsters, then he was hearing the call of televisions. He wouldn't be near that if he could help it. The forest was most definitely a better option. It wasn't very easy to navigate in the trees, though, so he only followed the dirt road that was winding through the quiet area. After what felt like hours, he finally came to the path's destination, a church among the trees. From what he could see, there was no glow screens inside, so he deemed the building approachable. But as he was looking for a way in, past the boarded windows and unmovable doors, he heard voices inside. They weren't raspy or haunting, but light and anxious. They were kids' voices. Mono searched with bubbling excitement, eager for the chance to introduce himself. He was finally able to get inside by climbing one of the nearby trees, entering a small hole in the building's roof and wiggling in. Mono carefully lowered himself onto one of the ceiling's beams, cringing at how it creaked. But the kids below didn't seem to notice. They kept chatting by their lamp, speaking in hushed voices. It was hard to hear them, but Mono could make out the words a little better if he leaned closer. Fire, warm. Our food, scavenge. Town, tomorrow. From what he could hear, it sounded like they wanted to get more food in the town tomorrow. Mono beamed from under his bag. That was perfect. He could help them with that. Lead them through the village, be a lookout for adults, help them carry food back. It was just what they needed. Mono didn't even realize he'd been leaning so far until he felt himself wobble on the beam and start plummeting towards the floor. He let out a sharp yelp and heard the group shriek in fear as he fell from his spot. There was a loud thud as he hit the floor, but he kept falling past that, breaking the wooden planks as he landed on them. He finally stopped and hit the ground after what felt like a lifetime of freefall. His whole body was in pain from the impact. His vision blurred at the edges as his mind began to slip into unconsciousness. He saw the silhouetted forms of the kids around the hole he'd made before he heard one of them turn and shout something as a warm glow grew from behind them. But Mono was already out before the kids could even react. He drifted into the dark and dizziness until everything became nothing. Mono goes to jail. It wasn't clear how much time had passed between his fall and his awakening. The dull throb of pain in the back of Mono's head didn't deter him from opening his eyes to take in his new situation. The ache made lifting his head a challenge, with the whole world spinning and his vision darkening at the edges, but it was nothing he couldn't handle. However, he still couldn't quite make out his new environment. He slowly sat up from his lying position, able to get a better perspective. Instantly, he noticed the smell of smoke and the crackle of fire. That was enough to put him into gear. He jumped up, wobbling for a moment from the dizziness, and started to climb out of the hole he'd made with his fall. He winced at how a few of the broken planks stabbed him with splinters, but he decided to worry about those little things later. His senses had been right. There was a raging fire in the building he was in. It consumed the wooden barricades on the floor, barricades on the doors and windows, and ate at the floors and walls. Other children were running and screaming in a panic, heading in all directions. Some were trying to pry the boards off of the exits, while some were shoving desperately at the locked door on the other side of the room. But even with how many of them there were, it was obvious that none of them would be able to escape before the fire ate everything. Switching songs? This will work better-ish. Then there was an inhuman groan from up above. Mono and the other kids looked up at the ceiling, which was lined with rows and rows of pipes that he hadn't seen before. There was a moment where it felt like the whole world slowed to a halt, everyone and everything holding their breath as the old pipes moaned overhead. The water finally sprayed over everyone. The fire hissed as they drowned, and the smoke made way for a humid mist. Some of the children sighed in relief, pointing their burnt hands up to the shower. Others cheered and danced in the droplets. Some just laughed in disbelief that they'd survived. Mono put his arms over his back to ensure that it wouldn't be ruined or made soggy. But then there was another groaning in the room. It was quiet under the sprinklers hissing water, but not quite enough to evade Mono's senses. He started to look around wildly, trying to find where that noise was coming from. His eyes found a boy, away from the others, near the walls of the room. There was a hand that casted a shadow over his form. Before the boy could even register the presence above him, he was being dragged into the dark. He screamed, louder than the sprinklers or the cheering children. Everyone's celebration paused in horror, and the panic started up again. The kids were darting wherever they could, trying to escape again, but the water made everything hard to get a grip on. More children shrieked as they were being dragged into the dark and disappeared. As much as he'd wanted to make friends with these kids, Mono knew that this was the end for them, and he wasn't going to stick around to be caught. In the midst of the disarranged crowd, Mono snuck off to find an escape. He ran his hands along the walls quickly until he found a part that wasn't solid. It was just cloth. He swiped it away and continued on until the water and cries for help faded into the background. Mono came across a room void of any life. The moon shone in through the open window, casting light onto the stack of boxes by the wall, the crumpled leather seat, and the broken television set in the middle of the space. Mono would have thought about how odd the scene was for the inside of a church, but he was too busy for it to even cross his mind. He was about to climb out the window by stacking the boxes, but he heard the sound of an adult stomping towards the room he was in. He didn't have time to move things around. He needed to hide, now. He was careful not to stab himself with the sharp jutting shards of glass in the broken screen as he climbed in. The clicking sound of the adult behind him sent a rising shudder up his back. He rolled into the television set, huddling up behind what was left of the screen. He sat there for a long time, breathing as quietly as he could. The clicking and thudding footsteps continued before stopping suddenly. It was silent for a moment or two. Mono didn't dare to move his head, but his eyes wandered to see what he could see in his peripherals. The figure was standing outside of the set, waiting for him. Mono finally turned his head to face it, spotting its dark claws from where he sat. He looked down at his hands, feeling the static pulse under his skin at the mere thought of his powers. Just the anticipation of using them was painlessly lifting the splinters from his palms. From under the bag, his face furrowed in frustration. I told myself I wouldn't do this. He curled his fingers into a fist, squeezing enough to leave crescent-shaped marks in his palms where his nails dug in. But there was that clicking sound again, and a rasping breath, and Mono snapped. I'm not dying here. He threw himself out of the television and raised his hand to the figure. Its clicking noises turned from the soft volume it was settled in into a deafening ricochet sound before the air was filled with Mono's power. The figure was stopped in its place and screeched in rage. Mono's fingers started to curl in again, and he concentrated on the waves he emitted. Stronger, stronger, he urged himself. Then he finally closed his hand into a fist again as power surged through his body. The figure screamed in pain as it was folded in many ways, each more wrong than the last, until it was a broken mess on the floor, skin broken and blood pouring. It didn't make a sound after its body hit the floor with a loud thud. Mono looked at the broken form, relieved and a little proud of himself. Then he started to panic. Kids aren't supposed to kill adults, are they? He looked at his hands, which now felt fuzzy from the static that had swarmed the air around him. No, dummy! Get out of here before something finds out what you did, he answered himself. He resumed his plan of stacking the boxes until he could climb out of the window and hop out into the outside world. The moment his feet met the ground and the grass covering it, he was running far away from the scene. The church's woodland surroundings made it easier for him to escape. He weaved through the trees and twisted around every which way he went, hoping it'd be enough to throw off any potential pursuers off his trail. Everything went by in a blur. Mono couldn't even tell which direction he'd come from, nor where he was trying to get to anymore. He was in the middle of the forest, where the fog wisped at the bases of trees, and the leaves overhead whispered when the wind passed through. Eventually, he decided to slow down, going from a sprint to a cautious trot. He needed to make sure he was safe. Hello? Mono concentrated on listening for the reply of static. He held his breath for a few seconds, not wanting to miss anything should there be a response. But there was nothing. There weren't any televisions in the middle of the woods, so Mono felt comfortable enough to stop. He could finally take in his surroundings with more observation than noticing the wind biting his skin. Night was in full effect around him, shadowing the world and adding a chill to the air. Mist was curling around the tree's roots as he slowly took everything in. The grass underfoot was cool and heavy with dew, the soil smelling damp. Mono imagined that this would be the farthest away in the world he could see from televisions. He knew it wasn't, but with how the crickets chirped, the canopy rustled, and the grass swayed, it felt so different from the warbling channels he'd grown accustomed to. But there was still one problem, a very big one at that. The question prompted itself into Mono's mind as soon as he caught his breath. Where am I? He'd hardly ever gone out into the woods. He spent most of his days near televisions, where he had an easy escape should the situation call for it. So the towering trunks and orchestra of nature were things that were almost completely unfamiliar to him. He didn't know how to direct himself out in the middle of nowhere. There were no street signs to tell him what roads he was on, or unique buildings to familiarize himself with. Everything looked relatively the same. A crawl of anxiety crept up his spine. One step at a time, he comforted himself. He looked up and his eyes rested on the moon, high in the sky, shining over everything. Climb. Get a vantage point. There were the skills he relied on. He went to the nearest tree and clambered up, grabbing branches, hugging the bark, grappling until he was finally at a branch that was high enough to give him a good view of the area. Trees were everywhere. He could see some breaks in the leaves, marking clearings or lakes, but mostly just trees. But then, far off into the distance, he saw the faint glow of something. It must have been a house, a lone cabin in the woods. Its light caught on the leaves and made them radiate a barely visible orange rather than the silver of moonlight that bathed the rest of the world. A house will have food, he thought to himself, humming aloud as he did. He did really like the sound of a meal that maybe just wasn't a stale bag of chips or an expired scrap of something he could only hope was edible. He was about to climb down when he heard a commotion in the woods. He turned from the expanse that was visible from his position to the general direction of where the sound of snapping twigs was coming from. The thought of it being an adult had the static returning to his nerves, but he forced it back, further below than under his skin. I can't have a trail of dead bodies behind me. Mono pressed himself to the trunk, trying to stand out less as the noises got closer. He could distinguish the sounds now. Small footsteps in the undergrowth, larger stomps farther away, heavy breathing, the sound of gunshots firing. Mono could see a flickering firelight in the woods. He assumed someone had a lamp or lantern with them. There was a particularly loud blast from the gun, and Mono knew that whatever was coming was close. The golden light swung jankily as whoever was there looked for a route beyond the bramble bushes surrounding where the monster apparently wanted to go. Mono heard the sounds drift away and saw the light disappear into the distance, and he breathed easy again, letting himself unhug the tree. But then he heard grass and foliage crunching quietly as something below approached. He quickly turned his head to the source. Within milliseconds of noticing their presence, his eyes met theirs, or at least he assumed so. It was hard to tell with how their hair covered most of their face, but Mono didn't need to see their face to know how important they were. To what? Admittedly, he had no idea. But he felt something in his chest, a feeling that seemed to string the two of them together. In his head, he caught a glimpse of something blurry, but the lightness in his chest told him it was something good. He saw white drifts and a figure in front of him, though he couldn't discern any facial features, especially past their hair. A song played in the background as he whispered something to them, and they whispered back, but nothing was clear. He could feel the cold, though, and his hearing seemed off in one ear, maybe even completely absent. Despite all that, he could still tell that this version of himself was happy. He didn't know what this was. He didn't know who this was, but he could tell that this was the most important thing in the world. He wanted to know them. He needed to know them. They stepped closer to him. He kept staring at them, leaning his head towards them just by an inch or so. The night dissolved into nothing, and the world held its breath. Then everything came to a screeching halt as a monster lumbered through the woods and stopped the child right in their tracks. Mono could tell instantly that this is what had been chasing them. The lantern on the adult's shotgun gave it away plenty, as did their wheezing breath. Mono hid close to the tree again as the monster took the child, quickly throwing them into a bag and tying it shut. The bag squirmed and rolled as they struggled, but it was obviously useless. Mono didn't move until everything went quiet and the crickets began singing again. He turned back to the glow of the faraway cabin. He knew that'd be where he had to go to find them again. There was no other place for miles. He took into account how the moon was falling back towards the horizon, in the west, the opposite direction of where the cabin was located. Mono felt confident in himself, enough to trust this sense of direction. He carefully climbed down the branches until his feet felt the soft grass again. He knew it would start getting lighter in a few hours, making the current hour the coldest it'd be before daybreak. The chill nipped at his fingertips, but that wouldn't deter him. Nothing would. Something was immensely important about that kid, something he had to know. Hello? He called out in his mind, looking for the faintest whisper. He almost took off his bag in hope that it'd make anything more audible, but he knew that wasn't how it worked. He wandered for a few minutes, calling in his mind again and again. All he got in return was the hum of nature. Hello? 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 Mono. Finally, he heard the call. But this one was unprecedentedly strong. Unlike the textured noise it usually gave back, it called his name. Even without the incentive of rescuing the mystery kid, Mono was drawn to its sound. He continued to reach for it from his mind. Hello? It would happily respond. Mono, mono, mono. Mono followed its sound until he found an abandoned shack in the woods. Its roof was caved in, and the windows were nothing but frames and somehow remaining shards of glass. He imagined it had been pitch black before the television inside had blared to answer him. It warbled in a way that was different from the garbled music his portals usually sang, but it was a portal nonetheless. He put his hands to the screen, feeling his power activate upon contact and sending a buzzing wave through his body. His senses fell away and a noisy fog overcame his mind, and the fog, wrapping its tendrils around his psyche, called something. A word, a singular word he couldn't quite make out yet. It almost sounded like a hiss. Louder than the fog was the voice calling his name. He felt his palms pass through the glass screen and the cold world cut into stagnant air. He was somewhere else, but it didn't feel like the real world. It felt like an alternate dimension. He felt as though he was underwater as he tried to move. Everything was slow, and moving took much more effort than if he were still in reality. Particles of something floated in the air. The thick air was neither cold nor hot, and instead only buzzed with some sort of electric energy. The sensation pinched at him constantly. In front of him was a door. The door had an eye on its front and a knob that he could easily reach if he jumped. Normally, Mono would have nothing to do with anything adorned with the eyes, but he couldn't stop himself from moving forward when that voice called again. Mono, mono, mono. Deep, scratchy, half-melded with static noise. In this narrow hallway, he could only assume that the voice was coming from behind the door. As he approached, it felt as though the air got thicker. He struggled even more to move, to even breathe. A thudding rumble clogged his hearing, and everything started to get fuzzy, like he was about to faint. Mono choked for air that he wasn't even sure was there. Mono. He was out in the cold again. He reached under his bag to rub his head. He vaguely registered a television clicking off. How it was on in the middle of a forest was a mystery to him, as he recovered from whatever that experience had been. Then he heard a distorted sigh, not in the distance, but very close by. He flinched and whirled around in a panic. Hello? He coughed at the use of his voice, which was often in disuse. Hello? There came the realization that this voice wasn't coming from his surroundings, but instead was talking inside his head. But this most definitely wasn't his internal voice. It was the same he'd heard at the door. Deep, scratchy, half-melded with static noise. What's going on? I don't know. Who are you? And then whatever was in his mind cut off into an eardrum-assaulting garble of static and scratching cassettes and groaning records. Something unnatural and ugly. Mono instinctively covered his ears, though it did nothing to lessen the painful sound's volume. What was that for? What? That loud sound, it hurt. I didn't. The voice was quiet before humming a contemplative, What? My communication may be limited, but you can hear me. Yeah, where are you? Mono looked around, expecting to see anyone in the trees or bushes, but he found no sign of anyone being where he was. All he could see was the sunrise's weak light trickling through the dark forest, leaves drifting from their trees, and the now quiet television. There was that garish sound again. Mono felt his head ache as a result of being exposed to such a painful noise again. I'm gonna stop asking that sort of stuff, Mono groaned internally, rubbing his temples. I'm just gonna call you voice until that noise stops coming back. To that, the voice only made the again. Mono took a deep breath to ground himself. He was back in this world where the air was light and filled his lungs despite the icy temperature it stung him with. The television, despite the detour, seemed to have led him where he wanted to go. At least he could only assume so. By using the rising sun, dewy behind the clouds, and its position, he was able to direct himself and start his journey to the cabin in the woods, towards the mystery kid. The mystery kid, the voice said, echoing his thoughts. Mono's face physically reacted and contorted into confusion. Did this voice know his memories? No, you're just not keeping your thoughts to yourself. Who is the mystery kid? He debated on whether or not to trust this voice. What if he was a danger to Mono, or a danger to Mystery Kid? Even if he had no idea who they were yet, Mono knew he didn't want them to be dead before he could properly meet them. I'm stuck where I am. Wherever your Mystery Kid is, I can't get to them. Mono realized very quickly that he'd need to learn how to think his thoughts to himself and only himself if this voice was sticking around. Unless voice wasn't real and he was going crazy from loneliness. Whether or not the voice was real or not, if he was really stuck or not, it wouldn't matter if he could hear everything Mono was thinking. At this rate, he'd figure out everything eventually. I'm gonna save this kid I met last night. That seems rather hasty. If they need saving, I can assume where they are is dangerous. I normally wouldn't do this, but I know they're important to me. What makes them so important? When I saw them, I saw something. I don't know what it was, but it made me feel happy. Maybe I knew them long ago, but I don't know. I want to know. There was a very long pause from voice before he slowly replied with, "That's odd." He didn't sound very genuine, but he also did. Like he knew something more but wasn't sure of it. "Yeah, that's why I want to know them. Good luck." "Thanks." Mono brushed dirt and grass off of his pants and started walking eastward. Leaves crunched under his feet and soil was stirred in his wake. The voice didn't say anything after his well wishes, leaving Mono to himself again. Somewhat. He knew they were still there. But he'd figure out who and where the voice was, or if he was even real, later. This kid was Mono's top priority. They'd been caught because of him. He had distracted them enough to let them be kidnapped by that monster. Above all else, he had to at least save them to make up for that. Maybe when he did, he finally wouldn't feel so alone. Anyways, how's everyone feel about that? Yeah, sorry, I just, yeah, I didn't really want to lose my train of thought as I was reading, so I didn't get to change the music. Anyways, how's everyone feel about that? I gotta read up the chat because I was so busy reading. Let me see. Not the T-posing. Let's add that to Mono's kill count. Man. I want to see. Also, yes, the thing that Mono saw was a reference to Lure of the Maw. It was supposed to be that scene that's at the very end of chapter 8 of the epilogue, where it was still kind of snowy out, but there was the music box and Mono and Six were dancing together. That is what that's a reference to. Oh, that's sus, please. That was so funny. Now, Thin Dad Cannon, help. Alright, so, woof, man, that was really stressful. I was sweating so bad the entire time. It does not help that, I don't have the AC on, so I'm literally dying of heat right now. Oh, crap. Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh, let me say, I can finally update these tags now, thank god. Humdy-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Anyways, let me say, it was hilarious seeing everybody guess like a Little Nightmares 2 comic character or someone, and it's like, haha, it's the Thin Man. It's literally the fucking Thin Man. It was so funny, people at guessing the comic kids, help. I was like, you're aiming a little low, fellas. Now I can add the Thin Man. Yes, come here. Come here, come here. Oh my god, you have no idea. I've been keeping that in for months. Holy shit. Holy crap. Ah! I'm so excited. Yes. Oh, I gotta add. What is it? It's not telepathy. That's what it is. That should be right now. Whew. Man, everyone in the chat is just Thin Dad, Thin Dad, Thin Dad. I have a question. Is Lure the Signal going to be more fluff or angst, or is it 50-50? Let me think about that. It's probably gonna be pretty 50-50. I know for a fact, let me reassure everyone, it is not going to be as gory as Lure of the Maw. So if you are gore sensitive, this fic probably won't kill you. That's pretty yeehaw. Some of my friends are really gore sensitive, so that's for them, you guys. I know that this one had a bit of body horror, and I should probably add that, because that's eventually going to be in there. I know that for a fact. I know that this one had a little bit of body horror, but everything should be fine. I guess I can add the blood tag, because we're not really going for gore this time. Boom. But there's definitely gonna be some angst, because there's stuff in the basic Little Nightmares 2 storyline that I'm following that have, you know, they're pretty crying, like, you know, 6 being taken by the bullies. That's still gonna happen. Oh man, the school chapter is gonna be so fun to write. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. The bad ending was just like a cathartic sort of right. It's not canon though, so nobody worry. They're fine. They still have that happy ending. I'm merciful. I guess, you know, since this is a prequel, you guys don't have to worry about Mono or Six dying. Unless. And there'll still be some fluff in it. I definitely have some plans for some pretty cute and fluff moments. Because, I mean, Mono 6 has got to be established by the end of Togetherness 2 is playing. By the end of the, by the end of the entire story, so. Unless everyone is freaking out about the unless. I mean, who here read Again and Again? I'm not saying that that'll contribute anything. Everyone is losing their shit. Oh Christ, give me a second. I gotta turn on this AC. I'm dying in here. Bro, it's so much hotter than 72 degrees. Don't tell me it's 72 degrees. Woo! Oh man, oh man, oh man. Oh, Christ. So, that was very scary to, read aloud. Very nerve-wracking. Yeah. You can definitely tell that I messed up a few times, but I did try to focus as hard as I could, which is why I didn't swap the music when it didn't really fit. I was just so... But, woof. But, it's finally starting. It is finally starting, man. Oh, yeah. Whoa, I'm so excited. I've literally been planning this for so long. Let me go check. When did I start planning? I'm checking my documents. I know this entire stream has just been Mono sitting there. I'm sorry. Can I get my file information? Oh boy. Version history. Oh, that's gonna be a lot. Let me back out. Can I get document details? Started in August. Early August. God. I started planning this in August. Don't look at me. Holy crap. Oh. Oh, sorry, Foxy. Oh, man. Yeah, I've had some practice. Some of the other Lure of the... Or, I guess not other. Some of the Lure of the Maw chapters I read to my friends, which was super fun. That's the extent of my practice. I also read a lot of books to my friend last summer because he didn't have them. But I still wanted him to know what was up. Mono on stream, hi. Man, I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. I have so much planned. So much. There's a lot that is gonna happen. Just the basic list of things that I wanted to completely make sure that I got into this. That list is 26, 27, 28, 29. It's 29 bullet points. And and the outline itself is 30 pages. So I am really I got some stuff to write. And I'm so excited. Oh god, there's like something in every chapter that I'm really excited to get to. Like in the wilderness there's gonna be the stuff I'm gonna say is not gonna be spoilery because it's stuff in the base game. There's gonna be you know, Mono and Six like meeting in the wilderness chapter. She's gonna get kidnapped in the school chapter. There Nothing's gonna go on in the hospital chapter. Fun fact, let me scroll down to the hospital chapter real quick and read you what I've got planned there. It says, okay, bitches, let's just move on and freestyle the hospital because this chapter is boring and sucks. Not kidding, that's what it says there. I hate the hospital. It's so boring. The Pale City, though. Listen, we're gonna have a boring chapter and then an absolute fucking banger chapter. It's gonna go so hard. I'm very excited for that chapter. Oh my god, this is gonna be such a wild ride and I can't wait for it again. Holy crap. Oh, wow. Hey, Vato. Gosh, is Thin Dad on that list? Yeah, of course he is. He's gonna be here. He's here. Holy shit, he's here. Said the same thing about the kitchen. The kitchen was fun. Yeah, I'm hoping it'll be like that. I'm gonna reference the concept art book for that chapter. Cause god damn, I hate those two chapters. Yes, claustrophobia, go off. I hate the kitchen and I hate the hospital chapters. They're boring and they don't have anything going on. Ironically, the hospital's not the school chapter though. Gosh, I'm really excited, guys. I've been planning this for so long. I've had the concept in my mind for forever too. Like even when I was writing Lure of the Maw, I didn't expect it to be the concept I was going to use for Lure of the Signal, but it fit. It fit with the like motif, like the thing that the Lure Signal has, or not, Lure series has. So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. Oh. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot that goes on. I'm excited. I'm excited for so much. Gosh. Oh, there's a lot that's gonna happen in this, obviously. A lot has to happen in order for things to line up in Lure of the Maw and everything. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be so great. Oh gosh. I want to say so much about everything that I have planned, but I'm not spoiling it. No way. One thing I am super excited about is that once this is all finished, I can finally make works that go into the stuff that happens in Lure of the Signal, because I'm not making anything that relates to big important plot things that happen in this work, so that I don't spoil anything. I'm saving it all for when this is over, and it's gonna be really, really tough to have that patience. But oh, Todd, what's your favorite character from the comics? I'm a basic person, and I really like Spoon Girl. Not because she's like the fan favorite, but because her chapter is just really fucking cool. Lure of the Signal, Kissy Fick Win. Do I want to say? I guess I can say. I guess. My body language right now is really weird. If I had my camera on, you guys would be like, maybe I should have my camera on. I don't have a mask. I don't want to show my face. Yes, right now, say. Okay, I will say. This fic will have the first sort of, I don't know what to call them, like those, there was that moment in the end of the epilogue where after Mono came back from his travel and everything, he and Six kind of had like a little bonding moment with their scars and everything. They're gonna have the first one of those in this work. Not gonna say when, but it will happen, and it'll be baby. But also, I'm sad to tell all of you, they won't kiss on the mouth in this work, because that is for Lure of the Maw. I am sorry. It's gonna be hard for me to avoid writing that. Trust me, it will. But yeah. Sayla! OMG, you like Mono 6? Wait, I'm blue. Yeah, I put you as a mod. Please don't abuse your mod powers. I beg of you. Oh, man. No. Oh, no. There are still going to be kisses, I swear to God. There are going to be kisses. It's no spoiler that by the end of this, they're going to have an established relationship. There's just not gonna be little lip mouthy kisses. So just chill. Just wait. If you get sad, you can just go and read the scene in Lure of the Maw again. Everyone is so pissed. Guys, I write so many fics of them kissing. Just go read those. My god. And I'm still gonna post other stuff while I'm posting Lure of the Signal, so don't worry. And obviously that stuff's gonna be mono 6. I'm the most predictable bitch. Oh, man. Gosh. I don't think 6 will talk too much. Okay. I think she'll probably talk as much as she did in Lure of the Maw. If not a little bit less. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So, she's still gonna have lines, guys, don't worry. I actually have literally in my notes, like, a bunch of conversations that I want them to have, like little dialogue exchanges. Whew. Am I late for this, or did it just start? We're a little late. We already read the prologue and it's already posted. Oh, man. I had to fill the kissy quota. Scully talks when Mono yells oi at her. No. She has incentive to talk. And it's called This Weird Kid That Just Saved Me. What the fuck is his deal? Oh, Christ. God, I'm hyped. I'm hyped as hell, man. You got no idea. God. Wow. There's also a lot of fun because I want to pace this out. I don't want the journey to seem like it only lasts a few hours like it does in the game. I want this to seem like it goes out for a few days. Maybe in a few weeks. A few weeks is like the golden spot for how long I want this to feel like it lasts. And thank God the concept art book exists and everything, and I can easily reference it because I'm going to use so many environment concepts there. Holy crap, you got no idea. Whew! This is gonna be great. I'm so excited. You got no idea. Oh, gosh. Here, I'll doodle a little thing for excitement. Whew! Now that, I can finally ask that. Now that you guys know who the character is that's joining them, does anyone have any guesses as to where exactly all of this is gonna go? Because that would be hilarious to see. I'm fucking buzzing right now, dude. You got no idea. Scrolling up and seeing the chat just go fucking bonkers when it was realized that it's Thinny. Oh my god. Hold on. I've got this. My beloved copy and paste. There we go. That's a good representation. Did the music stop or is it just quiet? It's just quiet. Oh. Typed out theory with much aggression. Thinny is here. I'm guessing we're getting Thin Dad moments. Yeah. I assume Thin Man won't like that he's with 6. Yeah. Man, Thin was actually a lot to plan out in this. These Lure of the Maw and Lure of the Signal were really difficult to plan because it's like I'm still following the base storyline of stuff happening. Like, you know, they get to the wilderness, they get to the school, then the hospital, then the Pale City, then the transmission, yada yada yada. So all of that is still happening. What's going on here? Ah, yes. Sorry, the music was going off. So it's like I'm just adding character interactions, and it doesn't feel like much of consequence really changes. And that is kind of sad. I like to think that the character interactions are really holding it up, but sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. That's why I put the hearing loss thing in the kitchen chapter, because I felt like everything else was just so bland and boring. I don't know. It was really weird. And I don't know. I hope that this goes well, because I'm really nervous. I was even more nervous about this than Lure of the Maw. Woof. Ooh. curious about how the big fight will go. Let me tell you, that'll be something to look forward to. During Six and Mono's journey through the city, every time Six is taken, Thin Dad will probably try to convince Mono to leave her, and when Thin Dad takes her, his warnings will become very, loud. The annoying static that hurt Mono's head in the prologue might return when Thin Dad tries to convince Mono to abandon her. Oh, okay, I can actually explain that because it's not very spoilery. The annoying static is just the tower's way of censoring information that would give away that it is Thin. So even though Thin has a way of communicating to Mono, it is, that's what I'm looking for. The tower does sense it, so it does censor everything. Anything that would give away that it is Thin. If you want to ask why this is happening, don't, because at the moment I don't have an explanation. I might think of one, but I just wanted this concept. It's cool. I like it. I want to roll with it. That's it. That's your explanation as to why this is happening. Damn, why tower? Gosh, I'm so excited. I'm really, really excited. Gosh, I've been thinking about writing this ever since, I don't know, probably the maybe kitchen chapter of Lure of the Maw. So a long time. Monitored. Yeah, that's probably the word I was looking for. Less than sun. No. Gosh. Oh man. Gosh, I'm insane. I'm insane in the brain for this. I have no words on this, but I like it so far. Thank you. I've done a lot. Like, even before the plot points and everything, there's, like, stuff. There's, like, oh, what's Mono's backstory, and what's Thin's backstory, and what's his motive, and everything. And it's like, gosh. Oh, wait, hold on. I do want to say something, because I know that some people might feel weirded out about this if they don't get the context. Is that, since Thin Man is obviously still Mono, Thin Mono, Thin's relationship with his Six was not romantic. They were just best friends. And if you ask why, and it's because that would be really weird in this situation if there was this adult character who is now in the presence of a young version or a past version, I guess, of this person he had a crush on, and that version is like 9 years old. Well, I guess I need to add that aged up, but still, that doesn't make it any better. Yeah, no, we're not going with that. This whole fic is going to be insane. I'm hyped as heck. There's so many possibilities. I think that is the person you voted for because they all... No! Why is this turning into Among Us? Let me add the aged up because I forgot about that. 11 to... What was it? 11 to 12 years old? Something like that? 11 to 12. Yep, that was right. 11 to 12 years old. The reason why I have them be a little bit older is because I don't think 9-year-olds would have such serious conversations. That's it. Damn soundtrack, you really going off. Gosh, man, I wish I could talk forever and forever about how just so excited I am for this. This is... I'm just... Lure of the Maw means a lot to me. It really put me up there with, Is this the... Let's skip this. That's the Dr. Chase. Lure of the Maw really put me up there in the Little Nightmares fandom. Like, a lot of people recognize me from it, and a lot of my friends tell me that when they talk to other Little Nightmares people, they're like, oh, Lure of the Maw, yeah. And I am really, really, like, grateful for that and everything. So it's really exciting to be working on this when it's, you know, it's the prequel to probably the biggest thing I've ever created. It's really, wow, I'm looking at the hit number right now. It's almost at 20,000 hits. That's an insane number. Oof. No, man. I do have some, not the lot sus, please. Some of the writing tips I have is to plan it all out before you do anything. Cause that way, if you change the plot, then you at least have an idea of where it's supposed to go. And planning out is just adding point A to point B and then continually adding more point B's between the original point A and point B. Like if we took the prologue as an example, I would want to... Point A was establishing that Mono's alone, and he ran away from wherever he came from. And point B is for him to go and rescue Six, and also he knows Thin, kind of. So, the point B between point A and original B was finding Six. And then you just keep adding more, like adding the Little Nightmares 2 comic scene, and him going to the door, being in the hallway. You just gotta add and add until you finally got an entire thing plotted out. And yeah, it is very time consuming and kind of exhausting, but it's worth it, I promise. Why the fuck is this sus? Holy crap. You guys are insane. Who does that? I do. I plan everything out. Gosh. Do I have any other advice for writing? I like giving advice for stuff. It's fun. It's just fun. I swear to God, I'm gonna ban the word sus. If anyone says sus again, I'm gonna bite you. I'm just looking at the big ass plot, the plot document, and it's huge. Gosh. There's not much more I can do on stream. I have a really hard time drawing when people are watching, so I might end it in a bit. Guys, stop. Please. Not the cringe ass nay chat. Oh my god. So I might end it in just a bit. But I am very happy for everyone who came by because, gosh, means a lot. I'm very happy that everyone is here. I will hopefully have the chapter cover up sometime today. I have to leave and go somewhere for a couple hours around, I don't know, like half an hour from now, about that time frame. So I have a very short window to make the art, but I'm excited to make the cover and all of that. I'm excited to make more covers for the chapters. I don't know if I'll make a chapter cover specifically for the prologue because I'm already making an entire work cover. I might make one for the wilderness. I don't really know. I might just stick to how I did Lure of the Maw and make covers for the really important banger chapters, as I would call them. So, not sure. If I did start making them for the really good chapters, the school chapter, Pale City chapter, Transmission chapter, and maybe the epilogue would have them. So about half of the chapters? Not sure. Thank you guys for all being here and for listening to my weird, awkward reading of the prologue. I actually had a lot of fun with this, and I hope that you know, maybe, no, I don't know. I was thinking, like, I don't know, maybe I should do more reading things, but that's kind of nerve-wracking. Better be 1,000 words. Guy, it's gonna be so much more than 1,000 words. It's probably gonna go up there with, like, at least 6,000 words. Oh, man. I am very happy for everyone who stopped by and hyped me up while I was reading and was really funny when the reveal happened. That was the highlight of my day. That was the highlight of my weekend, guys. Yeah, the chapters are going to be pretty long. Like, if you thought Lure of the Maw probably had some pretty decently sized chapters. There's shopping spasm, not here for that. Uh, it's gonna be a lot of words, guys. The outline is huge, so you're gonna get some pretty big chapters, which means that posting is not going to happen as often. Especially, I'm very busy right now. I have exams coming up in December. But I will definitely try to get content out for this because I super duper like writing for this. It is a lot of fun. I'm very nervous, but I have a good time with it. But I'm gonna go try to work on the cover and and add an actual description to the Lure of the Signal chapter. But thank you everyone for hanging out with me. I know this is a very weird song to end it on. I'm too lazy to skip it. But thank you all for joining me for the funny little reading and the funny little rambles and the hype and everything. And yeah.